Hello, this is my pitch for Departure, a 2D side-scroller survival game. Departure is built around a main character and a robot companion that the player can switch between both to gather different resources to build or repair different objects. The player will be able to build their robot companion in the beginning of the game. This is a key component because the player will have to use both characters to progress through the level. The player's goal is to go through the level collecting resources to help maintain their robot companion and build objects to overcome obstacles to locate and repair their ship. The resources that the player will be able to collect are tools like a screwdriver or a wrench. Tools are what the player must have to be able to build objects or maintain their robot companion after taking damage from enemies. Another resource that the player must collect are spare parts. Spare parts are made up of nuts, bolts, wires, pipes, metal, and power sources. These resources will be located throughout the level. Spare parts will randomly generate in different areas of the level. The player will not be able to carry any extra tools or parts, therefore the robot will act as an inventory for the player to help carry more resources. During gameplay, the player will move through the level collecting resources with their main character and storing them in their robot inventory. Continuing to move through the level, the player comes across an obstacle like a gap. The player will have to switch to their robot companion to move heavy materials like beams and panels that the main character cannot lift. After placing the materials in front of the obstacle, the player will switch back to the main character to start constructing a bridge to get over the gap. When building or fixing objects, it will take a certain number of spare parts. If the player does not have the right amount of spare parts, the player will have to locate some more to finish the task. Once the player has overcome the obstacle and reached the part needed for their ship, like a panel or power source, the player can add that part to their ship and go to the next level. Departure will have antagonizing forces that will be working against the player. There will be two kinds of enemies, little robots and blobs. They will both try to stop the player by attacking the player and the objects that the player builds. When the player's robot takes too much damage, their robot will stop working. The player can attack enemies with tools or stomping on them when they are controlling their robot. When enemies are killed, spare parts will drop for the player to pick up. The theme of Departure is the player has crashed on a planet made of garbage and must fix their ship to take off the planet. Departure takes the idea of the game Ratchet and Clank, where each character performs different tasks to help the player get through the level. The risk in making Departure: will the interactions the player has be fun, and will the mechanics of having to fix and build objects be too much for our capstone team?